All right. What's going on? What's going on? Testing, testing. Woo! All right, back with another one. Embracing to being an independent thinker. What's going on, Psycho Candy? What's going on? Oh shit. Let me get this real quick. All right, another one. So part 12. Part 12. Let's see. Let's see. Part 12. Let's see here. Nonprofit. Let's see here real quick. Yeah, save that. And we're here. We're here. We're here. Okay. Another one. Number 12. Woo, they still talking about that I think the mess from the trolling from last month, and I believe last week, well, I mean, this past week, I mean, this week has been crazy. Even last week it's been crazy. The wildness is just, I'm telling you, man, y'all niggas is wild. But you know what I'm saying? But the independent thinking series is like, it's based like, it started out when I was anti-manosphere and things like that. That's the whole purpose of this series. And think outside the box, because a lot of those dudes is one dimensional. And I'm glad that Duke the Don was saying that. And I was saying to myself, I'm like, this is the type of stuff that we deal with. And we just look at it like what it is. You know what I'm saying? But what you notice, that's the stuff that you hear in so many cases. So greetings, y'all. Greetings. But it's just like I understand everybody is one dimensional in that regard, and I was like saying, man, like they say the most frivolous shit I've seen all year. But that just shows you that they can't think outside the box. So the one of the reasons I made this series is because of that, and then combination they stuck on the gender politics and things like that. That's why I always gonna do streams about the dollar conspiracy and things like that. That stuff is wild to me, man, because most people they just gonna be on top of the wrong stuff. So, all right, y'all give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Oh, back at it. But it is what it is. And I think people understand that you have to think outside the box. I know most people don't really care so much. And I'm just like, that's what you deal with in so many words. But but you got people wanting to defend certain things, and and I looked at people's comments still talking about, can we defend someone else's spouse, even though there's an elite establishment in the Academy? To be honest with you, I don't care for the Oscars. To be honest with you, I think everybody should know they don't like niggas, man. But it was some payback behind that situation. But I look at it like anything else is. This goes to show you we will see in, I will say, in months and years. But y'all forget, y'all remember when Monique got booted out of there? But all actors don't get paid as much. I was just watching Duke the Don shit. I was like, he was saying that man makes more money than dude. I said, dude, it ain't got nothing to do with money. It's got to do with reputation. Money is nothing. A lot of those actors don't get paid like that. The ones that get paid like that and then direct movies, that'd be your Tyler Perry's. Denzel, he's an elite one because he's always makes some hits. But Will, last time he made hit movies, he ain't win none unless you do a cool movie. And I was saying to myself, I was like, whoa, see, that was a setup. That's what happens. But you took the bait, and then there it is. You know, in a civilian mindset or a regular person, yeah, it's okay to defend another spouse or whatever, but they put themselves in that situation quite as good. And I think the trolling, the hate is pretty normal on YouTube and Twitter. I ain't never seen nothing like it, but that's what he get. You take that risk, you take that risk. And I believe I see this a lot, and this is goes back to what I've seen 10 years ago. The internet's undefeated, man. Like, well, ever since the age of the smartphone, people are not gonna stop talking about you. And if you're a celebrity, you know it's done. It's done for you. Nobody's gonna fuck with you long term. But if they don't fuck with you long term, you're gonna act like this ain't no problem. This always been a problem. So I like I said this. You know, I was watching several streams and people still talking about it, but that's what they get, man. Like you can't defend the fuckery forever. So certain people ain't gonna like you regardless. So that's how it boils down to. You know, but you got to deal with the internet. You know what I'm saying? Internet's undefeated in every regard. So people gonna talk about you. And he let it got to him. But see, his popularity kind of got finished after that, after a while. So yeah, man. It is what it is. So I understand that people have their moments, but you know, a lot of people gonna still talk about it. But you know, I was just talking about the money aspect where people trying to say the dollar's gonna fall. Like, dude, they have no idea. That shit was just wild when people say it's gonna fall and all this, and they still believe that. But that goes to show you the repeat of history. People believe in certain things. It's just like everything's like a religion to them, and that's the tropes that you see a lot on YouTube, and everybody's on different news sources and things like that. So quite as quiet as as quiet as it's kept, most people are gonna still believe in what they're gonna do. So you can't really think like freely as much on YouTube. So you got to understand YouTube is going to be what it is. The whole purpose of me doing this series is kind of like you could think outside the box, do different things, different topics. I mean, sure, I talk about politics, current events, and everything else. I mean, most currently, I haven't seen nothing wild. I think it was some news about some woman, some kid, or the school system. But hold on. I got a current. Hold on. It was a Sky News, right? Hold on. Let me go back to my fucking little archive. Well, let's talk about this bullshit right here. On the shared community tab I have, it said in Sky News, right? And I found this out. Parents are being warned to be extra vigilant over seemingly fun videos. I'm gonna read this. I'm gonna read this right here. Apparently, they said over seemingly fun videos that feature a menacing character with razor sharp teeth. Now I thought this was some bullshit. Now you can't even take care of your kids and they can't watch what they want to watch. They just being a child. It's entertainment. It's just a character. Like they think that's gonna be nightmares or some shit. Like some people just weird, man. Like that just shows you the censorship of the world, bro. It's crazy. And it says Huggy Woogie parents. Huggy Wuggy. Okay, Huggy Wuggy parents and schools concerned about viral videos. The videos show a blue teddy bear like character with sharp teeth singing about hugging and killing. Uh oh. Wow. The character cast from Poppy Playtime. Oh no, here we go. Parents being warned be extra vigilant over assembly fun videos that feature a menacing character with razor sharp teeth. The animated character goes by the friendly name of Huggy Wuggy, leading parents and children to believe the videos are aimed at youngsters and contain no inappropriate material. Uh oh. Wow. That's some wild shit. Parents have warned the videos are bypassing YouTube's parental controls pick YouTube. Okay. The characters is a survival horror game called Poppy Playtime, but has been made into a popular videos which appeared on YouTube and have seemingly slipped through the parental controls. First appeared on the Steam is made by indie developer Mob Games, but in it plays as a former employee who is revisiting an abandoned factory. Those previously owned the game in Universal Company. Playtime, quote, 10 years after the staff have seemingly vanished about a trace. It's also available on the App Store, Android Store, and the Peggy 12 rating, meaning it's a suitable for people over 12 and toys represented. The character are sold on Amazon. Huggy Wuggy character has been created on Roblox virtual community where he users can create their own 3D worlds with their own game players. One mother has told Sky News that her 3-year old tried to jump out of a window after seeing the videos. Oh Lord, here we go. Beth Buxton, 31, told Sky News her two daughters, who are 10 and 12, both play Roblox and watch the videos online with her 3-year-old son. She thought it was similar to Minecraft. Oh, here we go. But her son became obsessed with Huggy Wuggy. She said he got to the stage where he didn't know the difference between reality and gaming. See, there we go. I'm glad someone said that. I'm glad someone said that in this. And he tried to climb on the bedroom window saying he would die and come back to life, telling me that's what Huggy Wuggy does. We've banned Roblox and put locks on YouTube, and I have Windows lock being installed next week because he's thinking about it. There are numerous of terrifying characters these games. He was going into school talking about killing and guns if it was happening at home. See, that's yeah. They don't know there's a difference. But but that's bad parenting too. It goes both ways. You should be responsible for the first time. So it's real sad. So it gets worse. But the Westview Primary School in Hartpool released a statement. The parents on social media saying the character sings worrying songs about hugging and killing, but it says in other videos the bear asks the viewer to take their last breath. It is a very deceiving character, as a hug should be seen as something kind and love, and because if its name is able to infiltrate firewalls and filters. They've asked parents to be vigilant while their children are on YouTube. Due to the name, young people may come across this character and watch a video expecting a kind bear. Also, due to the name of it, may slip through some internet filtering you may have in place to protect your children. Therefore, please be extra vigilant when your child is online. Katu Academy in Hartlepool said. One school said they have seen children recreating the videos. Yeah. In January, did Deal Parion Primary School in Kent release statements to the parents, which it leads to Justine Brown worrying them about videos, adding they have seen more children recreating a game on the playground with hugging and whispering nasty things recipient to the ear. So yeah. Y'all read the rest of the article, man. Like, man, that's some wild shit. But but that just shows you that's bad parenting, man. That's bad parenting, and you gotta be extra vigilant. Sometimes I see this a lot on YouTube, and I see this a lot every day when I used to work as a barista, and then people see this stuff on the news. Like, I watch different news sources here and different news channels, and it was one channel, I think the news channel, they was talking about I think it's one of those news channels that I think it's called HLN or something like that. They was talking about stories like these, and it gets under the cracks, and next thing you know, people just go crazy with it, right? But that just shows you the badness of people, and people just need to just stop and chill and think this is going to be a problem, right? And a lot of it's just bad parenting, but and that just shows you right there the discipline of not taking care of your kids, but they can't have no fun anymore like they used to. But it is what it is. But sometimes people are tricky with those cartoon characters. But I'm gonna step away real quick. I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, I'm back. Okay. About that, people don't have that free thinking to think what they want. Now, when I was younger, was there violent cartoons? Were there characters that's killing characters? I will say it was a couple. Now, some of them were mild. I'll give you an example. Like yeah, you got the superheroes like Batman, and yeah, you have the Masters of the Universe cartoons. I remember them, He-Man and all that. It's a lot of violent cartoons. I mean, they were mild. They wasn't as blood and gory. You know what I'm saying? They had powers and shit. And there's another violent cartoon I was thinking of. Like, I got to be like about 10 and above. Dragon Ball Z. That's a violent cartoon. Yeah, it's blood and gore a little bit, turn into animals and being barbaric. They didn't say nothing back then in our time when we saw that in the late 90s and early 2000s. It was fun, because I knew the difference back then. But nowadays, these kids, so much shit is on, I would say, from the smartphones and tablets and high quality ass TV. And you raise them so early. Here's the thing: if you raise them so early, that's your fault. That's not society and YouTube and the corporation's fault. You know why? Because these parents are controlled to think that everybody's responsible for your kid. No, you're responsible for your kid, because then you got to think for yourself. Sometimes you got to be mindful what they watch. 9 out of 10, they think for themselves. So you can't tell them how you think. Now, what you teach them, what you put in front of them, that's it. Even my parents knew that, like the stuff they put in front of me is what I've taught and what I learned. But see, as a child, even if he gets older, he has to learn to adapt. Is it the right thing to do? Now, your parents probably taught you well, disciplined you, all that. See, I was too. But we are responsible for what we do outside of it. Are we going to take that stuff? And then those boys' thoughts was he believed in the character. And the problem with that is 9 out of 10, people get caught up believing in the character. And it's kind of sad, but but that's always going to be that way. But it's the psychology factor. It could be what's going on in the home, and you can't expect people to change. That's just what it is. I've learned this a long time ago. You can't tell people how to raise their kids, and it is what it is. And I think people are just so delusional to the point, and this is why you got to think for yourself sometimes. Sometimes parenting could be good, but the thing is what you put them when you watch. You're responsible for participating in the madness. So the madness is on you. You know what I mean? Because you can't get mad about society and then you are stuck in that realm. So I'm saying it's the hypocrisy of these parents. Kids going to see what they're going to watch. A child is a child. Think about it. A child sees a cute little character. Yeah, he may look a little violent. He looks a little raw. What I saw from that article, I said, oh, Lord. That's a wild character. I might have to investigate that probably after this stream. I might tell y'all about it. I might tell y'all that in the vlog stream. I may tell y'all about that. That's gonna be a future vlog stream topic about characters. And we're gonna talk about cartoon characters and kids watch. Is it appropriate to watch violent cartoons? But I ain't gonna name the title of that. I'm gonna name it what type of kids watch appropriate cartoons. Because the reason I'm doing that, I just read an article, man. It's sad. You can't even say what you want to say no more. You just got to be careful what you say now. They said, well, he can't watch this. That character is spooky. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, can we have a childhood? But it's these names, man. And they say it's a video game. We gotta look at that. And it's a video game. I didn't know it's a video game. Oh my God. Like, seriously? Oh, he's in the villain's wiki. Oh shit. Wow. He's in the villain's wiki. God damn. He's in the villain's wiki. The fuck? He's in the villain's wiki. He's in the villain's wiki. Oh my God. Okay, so okay. They really serious about this shit. Let me check this one out later. I'll check it out later after I get done with shit. This may not be a long stream because this is a wild stuff. What's going on, Tampa? Yeah, I'm good over here, man. And it's just like I see this a lot. Like, why is parents tripping off of villain cartoons now? Like the antagonist of the story. This shit is wild. Like, I don't understand. Like, I'm glad I made this. And shouts to the Sky News. I just put this in my community tab, and I was looking at it like, that's some crazy shit. But you know, it just shows you where we at, man, where we at as a society, and people just get caught up in they said this is a violent cartoon. This is bad. You know, oh my god, it's a violent cartoon. It's a violent cartoon. We gotta watch our kids. He's spooky. I'm like, when's the last time? When's the last time? When's the last time? We was tripping like that when we was younger. But that's just wild, man. Like I remember Dragon Ball Z, we had some violent villains, right? We had Frieza. He was a dragon like male creature. I thought it was a female way he was talking. But that thing was violent. It had bombs and everything, right? Creature, right? And then we also had Vegeta turn into an ape. I ain't tripping off of that when I was young. Nobody tripping. They made video games about Dragon Ball Z as well, not just the movie, but the video games too, on PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. All the video game consoles that we played over the years, there was violent video games in my sister's time. She didn't trip off that shit. I didn't trip off that shit, but that just shows you the parenting of the 21st century, mid 21st century is trash. So it's bad parenting, bad leadership. It just shows you there's no leadership in the homes, what you see today. Just like you see online, just like you see this pathetic ass so-called manosphere. A lot of these boys are misled, you know, and a lot of them was probably abused when they were young by both parents, and you don't know what their background is. And you know what's so fucked up? And I'm glad society is exposing all this shit, even though there's a takedown, you know, YouTube every day. But this is what it is, man. A lot of people don't want to deal with this conversation because a lot of times there's problems. Some people, yeah, they can think for themselves. You can, but if you think yourselves in the wrong way, 9 out of 10, some people are going to attack you based off your belief. And that's what it is. It's just what it is. And I thought that article was very telling. That just shows you people think one way when they see it. When they was young, they didn't have violent stuff to say on television. There's a lot of stuff that was violent on television. They just ain't going to say it wasn't. But it just shows you where we at as a society. And that's just how it is. But some people look at that and many others as a thing. So that's the thing. So that's what you see. That's what you see. But you know, a lot of times people are going to be who they are. And I'm not saying anything. It's just like you got to understand that people are going to think a certain way. But like I tell you folks, it's just one of them things that you got to look out for. And the reason I brought that up in a 23 minutes and 29 seconds of the stream is you see society like that fall. This is a current event. I'm just explaining to y'all that a lot of people can't think for themselves. And always, I mean, it's good to think for your children because they think their thinking level is not as high yet, unless they get, I'll say their brains don't develop in the maturity. What's the difference between, I would say, real and fake? I'll say probably about 10 to 12. Or I'll say 10 to 12 when they were kids. And then when they get teenagers, it'll be like 13. I'll say from 17 is when they really develop. They notice the difference. The problem with that is most people are caught up into the bullshit. So when a child's caught up into the bullshit, you got to forgive certain kids nowadays because the way they were taught is how they were raised. So it affects you when you get older. And that's one of the side effects of society not teaching them the truth about certain things. And y'all just say, man, this is crazy, man. And that's what time it is. And I think most people should understand that when you deal with certain things like this, societies is just like, you know, they report on things that don't really have to say, and it doesn't matter at this point. So when you have this series like I'm talking about, you understand that people are going to say ignorant stuff all the time. And then, you know, they start to say that it's violent cartoons and things like that. I've seen a lot of bad shit, but that cartoon character was not that violent. That's just entertainment. You know, when I was younger, you know, we didn't think nothing of it. We seen worse than that. Like I've seen cartoons 10 times worse than that. But that's just bad parenting. They don't think for themselves and they don't know how to raise their kids in better leadership positions and put them in places that there is a difference between real and fake. But they have to determine that. So it's kind of like it's a two-way street for the child to learn, dealing with other people that's older. But since that boy was 3 years old, he's a baby. So he ain't gonna get it until he's at least matured enough to be like 6 to 8. And I would say up to about 10 to 12, he'll get it, and then 13, 17, he'll have the real understanding of his reading level has to be high enough to understand as well. And that's a whole nother story on that. So you can't really fault some people's child not thinking straight. So, and it happens, man. It starts early, but here's the thing: you know what ruins children of today is technology. They don't go outside enough. When I was younger, I did went outside. I mean, yes, I played basketball and everything else. Yes, I touched the grass, scraped my knees. I did all that shit, right? This was back in the 90s, early 2000s. See, early 90s was a child, and then the 2000s was a teenager. So I seen that shit. I rarely use a lot of technology. I mean, we had a computer, but computers back then were trash. A lot of people think they were the shit. No, they were not. They were trash. The best computers I've seen was probably, I would say, from '03, probably 2010, quiet as kept, because '03 and 2010, if you was on old YouTube, like I remember, computers were fairly decent. They weren't great, but you had the internet. It was better than AOL. But see, after the AOL, you had the internet. You had the whole browser interface. You had Internet Explorer. You didn't have Firefox. Mozilla Firefox came later. So all those browsers came later, and Google Chrome, all that came later. But when you start having Explorer and all the first little interfaces on the internet, that's what my generation grew up under. We understand there were certain things, links, searches, and all that shit. But once you start getting to the actual in your face smartphone, that changed everything. The kids have it easy. They can't talk about my generation. We have it easy. No, you motherfuckers got it easy. You millennials and on down got it easy than we did, because that was not easy technology. That was an easy transition. See, my old motherfuckers trying to say, well, y'all have it easy. Bullshit. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. No, we didn't. Yeah, we grew up amongst them having it, but we didn't have that growing up as a child, okay? Go back to our childhood in the 90s. If you was born in the late 80s and above, we didn't have that shit. And people in the early 90s did not have that shit if you're part of that generation of us, right? But I'll say if you was born mid 90s or late 90s like my sister, you had the best shit, okay? It's the people that's born mid 90s on down had the best shit of technology. We didn't have shit. So y'all need to stop it. We was outside playing basketball. Some people got punched in the face. You got to deal with that shit. Some people's bullied. I wasn't bullied like that. I was like, ah, man, I always beat up the bullies, protect the little one, always protect the little man. That was me growing up. So, and then you look at things like that. That's the shit that I see all the time, man. Like these kids done got softer and softer, whatever. So, one thing I could say about people, this shit is real, bro. Like, these people don't understand that a lot of times some of these parents are just soft. I'm just gonna say it right now. They soft as baby shit. Like, for real, for real. Like, they can't even protect their kids properly. But then they want to act like it's society's fault for not helping them. You know what I'm saying? But that's just what it is. So we see this all the time. So we're not worried about anything else, and that's it. And that's just basically, you see this all the time. And I'm not even worried about anything else or whatever. And it just boils down to it. So a lot of times people are just going to look at it differently. So you got to look at things from a integral perspective, and then you got to look at it like, okay, this is it, and that's fine. So you got to look at things like that. This series is going to break down a lot of things. I mean, we'll say, like, you got to be your own independent thinker, and you have to think things outside the box. Sometimes people are going to be who they are. You can't get mad at everybody, because one thing I've learned, when you get older, you got to think for yourself. Sometimes The cartoons, yes, they were violent, they were mild and shit like that. People look at things from that perspective, but you got to look at things from an angle. When I saw that violent cartoon, I mean that's harmless compared to when I was growing up. I mean it's a cute little character, but my goodness, these people are very very sensitive. But that just shows you where we at. That shows you where we at as a society. So when you have that in a society like that, a lot of people just gonna look at it differently. You know what I mean? Because one thing I can tell you, it's already been lost. So when you have certain things like that, people are going to be like that long term. So when you have it, you know what it is. You know what it is. So yeah, man. Like I understand the extent of people not liking certain things, but they just how and and that's how I look at it. But when I saw that article, man, like it's just crazy where we at as individuals and people. So we got to look at it like that angle because most people they just get brainwashed into thinking stuff is bad all the time. But see, despite the war overseas, you can't even think for your damn self. So and sometimes it goes both ways. It's the parents' fault and what they put on television, and you got to blame certain parents. But it's how you raise them. It's how you raise them. It's how you raise them. And you got to understand the discipline of children. Children gonna look what they're gonna watch. The thing is, you gotta let them explore and fall down. I do agree with that, but the problem is, it's what you put on television. If the cartoon is violent, that's on you. He has to decipher when he gets older. Is it gonna be like that person growing up as adults? Sometimes, yes, they go crazy. It starts when they're young, but when they get captured by someone else, like another human being, another person, you have to interact in the real world, they say, right? And I see this a lot. It's that individual. What was he like as a child? Some parents don't care. You got a lot of parents that didn't care what he watched. My parents was the same way, but they was teaching me it was just entertainment. But I had to learn to decipher that. It was my assessment. So it depends on how advanced you were. See, when I was real small, I wasn't watching that stuff. I was watching cartoons and some of them were violent, some weren't. But it depends on what you was doing. But you realize something. A lot of times you had to understand that it mattered what you watch. Now, did I watch rated R movies when I was like younger? Absolutely. My parents, it was entertaining. You gotta understand how young they were. They was like one, I think my dad was in his 30s when he had me. So I'll say in his late 30s, going on 40s. And it was 8 years difference with his wife, my mom, right? And she had me at 26. She was in her 20s, late 20s. So it's an 8 year difference. It's an 8 year gap. She was gonna be 30 real soon, and he was gonna be in his 40s. So that's an 8 year difference. So that right there explained the maturity level they was on, but they made sure I didn't go extreme with it. See, back then, cartoons and movies, they were violent, but they were mild back then. They wasn't aggressive like you see now. See, nowadays it's in your face. It's on the cell phone, iPad, or tablets that you see, Android tablets. It's just crazy. These kids look at everything. I ain't never heard of cartoons called Huggy Wuggy. That shit is wild, man. Like that shit right there, like them weak names like that, they think that's violent. Oh my god, man. I mean, that's entertaining. That's funny to me. That is hilarious to me. But that's how people think. It's a soft world and a finesse world. I try to tell people. I use sports as an example. Anything that's finesse, you can't say anything. I'm just gonna be real. You can't say anything. You can't say nothing about the athletes. Hell, you can't say nothing about anything nowadays because they'll ostracize you. That's why you don't have a independent mindset like everybody else. So you can't say what you want. Them days is dead. That died when the smartphone came, and it actually died in 2015, to be honest with you. A lot of people just don't see it that way. You gotta understand that shit died a long, long time ago. And that's the whole point of, this subject. Where has it been lost? I could play the old strings what we was talking about in this series. I mean, I started this in the summer, and then it turned into a fall and winter spring edition and made it into a series. So I had to do a series like this because the whole purpose of this series, you have to do this. It just only mattered in time. So the reason I started this kind of emotion, I understand what I was dealing with. So basically, this series is like every other Tuesday. So we already know, I don't do it Mondays no more. I gave it to somebody else, and shouts out to him. He's got a great show every Mondays, and this is more my thing. So when you do these series like these, you have that independent mindset. So it breaks down what you're doing and entail. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you just got to look at it like, I'm here thinking, and oh, it's halftime right now. So the Hawks is down 52 and Toronto's got 56. Oh, it's a good game. Okay. But yeah, it's just like you got to look at it. That's one thing I could tell y'all about the long term effects of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But that's just something you got to look at. But the whole purpose of me looking at that is just showing you see this all the time. Now, I know people don't want really care about have that independent mindset. You got to think for yourself sometimes, especially on here on YouTube, because you got to have your own mind. See, that's why I do my content. I do pre-records, and people don't care. That's cool. But the dollar conspiracy, I'll probably do that. I'll probably do that next week. I'll have to come up with a plan and do a stream on it. And it may be a Friday stream. I'm not gonna promise y'all anything. It may be a Friday morning stream. It may be a Friday morning stream. But the DTNs, oh, we're gonna do that this week. I got some juicy screenshots for y'all, man. I saw some wild bullshit this week. And fear of rejection. We got to talk about that on Kay and Kayla. They had it's a good stream. But man, there was some fuckery. I saw. Them dudes cannot take it, bro. Man, it is what it is. But there'll be some juicy ones this week. So we'll see what's going on. I got everything lined up. Everything lined up. But tomorrow we're gonna talk about social contracts, contractualism. We're gonna break all that down by contractarianism. That will be tomorrow, of course, standard Eastern time, 8:10 as usual. My current content. And that's it. That's just what you have. But when you have things like that, see, when I did Thursday Thrills, the same standard time, 8:10 as usual. But the new time for DTNs, you already know it's 5:30. That's a 5:30 Eastern time. So of course it's gonna be 5:30 every Thursday. So y'all know what it is. I'm not stopping for nobody. So the good thing about it is when you think about the independent thinking series, you understand that most people are gonna do what they do, right? And that's the thing about certain things. So when you have these things, that's just how it is in so many words. So the thing about talking about these things like that, like when we talked about that character, like the huggy wuggy character, that's very telling to how where people's minds and thoughts that are. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying, like, man, it is what it is. Some people just gonna be who they are, man. I ain't even tripping off that shit. Yeah, man. It's just like I'm just like I'm telling you, bro. That's how it is. And I don't understand why people just get emotional about certain things right now. But that Will and Jada shit, That's the biggest distraction all time. They troll the shit out of y'all. That's some good content for you niggas, man. But shouts out to the legendary Wacky World of O. When he said that shit, yeah, they gave y'all some content. But shouts out to him, man. That shit was very, very factual. Oh, yes, sir, it was. Y'all niggas is so emotional, bro. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping off of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I see. That's what I see. Don't pay me no mind because what they say, content strategy. But Lord Ramil himself, he came back from the LBM Coliseum. I got him too. I got him too, man. I got everybody, man. Like it is what it is. Some people just is gonna do them, and then a lot of people said they're getting canceled. They said you can't talk about people's content, and he was talking about the C virus. I mean, hold on. People was talking about the C virus. You can't talk about the C virus and things like that. Yeah, you can't talk about that on YouTube, and it's still in effect. I think when people's anti that, you cannot talk about that on YouTube. So you already know what time America's on. So they gotta do something. That's Google and YouTube. They've been doing that forever, man. I try to tell people, and I told this to Tampa like last week about the capitalism stream that we did. They are canceling people out. And I said this past Sunday of this week. They shutting people down. I said it on Gino's channel. I said, dude, they don't care, bro. Like, you got to be very extra careful. Ain't nobody gonna flag you like that. Don't get too sensitive. See, y'all got to get off this right wing bullshit. That's the problem. They don't want that on YouTube. They're biased, bro. The left has been destroyed. Fuck right and left. That's why I'm making this series what it is, because I don't. It has no monopoly. See, this shit and everything else is gonna change in the future. It depends on what you're gonna do your content afterwards. If they shut this shit down, this whole thing down, right? There's other options. I know there's Rumble, and damn sure there's other places that you can build your content, but it depends, man. But this one right here ain't gonna last as y'all think. I'm just saying it right now. Once I get some actual content and get some headroom, and I meant to see what Rumble's about. I might have to create an account and see, and that's gonna be something conducive for me. Gotta have something, man. It is what it is. Pre-records is cool, but it's what you value. You know what I'm saying? That's the stuff that we need to talk about. So yeah, man, it's just what it is. It is what it is. And I think people should know about it right now. So yeah, it's 43 minutes, 7 seconds. I'll open it up in the 50-minute mark. Y'all give me one. Y'all give me about a minute, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna step away. All right, I'm back. What's going on? Oh, evening, Supreme Elder, evening. Good. But yeah, it's just like the kids dealing with bad parenting, people dealing the world. I understand that cartoon, that video game I saw from Sky News. It's very telling, but it just shows you what society's on. Despite the nigga shit that we see on YouTube and just the false reality, but in the off line and other places, the world is like, man, they dealing with this. But that just shows you where we at. I mean, I talk about this stuff. Um, we see this all the time, man. Like that just shows you where the kids are, And then yes, they go online and you see some wild stuff, but then they ask, like, what about the incels? Well, some of your incels used to be kids that watch violent cartoons. Are we to blame for bad parenting? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, I ain't saying I'm a parent, but I see this a lot. My parents were decent. They ain't perfect, but they raised the best they can out of me. But I'm just saying, I didn't go out there and act crazy. It's the mindset of that person. So he has to be willing to discern which is real and fake in reality. And a lot of times that doesn't translate to most people on here. And I noticed that how they was raised. You hear their stories, and you understand how they grown up. And I'm using that cartoon as an example that does exist. I mean, but the thing is, can you blame that person? That's how they think. And sometimes you can't change people like that. You got to let them change for themselves. And I did several streams about certain things about that. Yeah, we talked about a little bit of dereliction and we talked about all that. Yeah, it's a combination of a lot of stuff. But a lot of times those people used to be children once. So the stuff we say to them, we're going to breed more of them. So what I've done the last couple of days, I realized I'm not going to trigger them because I already know what triggers them. See, they have nothing else. So yes, this is a violent time. Yes, you got a war over there out in the Eastern Europe / Ukraine, Russia, but that's a small part what it's going to be like in the future. I've always said when I talk about that anarchist series that I did on the political world systems, this is the younger generation's fight. So we just coming out of that military and that war. Thanks to Ruling was saying that we was looking at it like, man, this stuff is wild, but it's a continuation of what we're seeing now. So yeah, people gonna look at violent stuff. As long as you have media and grasping and things like that, it's gonna influence the children like that. A lot of times you just got to look at it like that. You can't get mad what's on the television. You're responsible to teach him the best he can to say, hey, this stuff is not real. Don't get caught up in it. And my father's told me the same way. He told me the same way that that's always gonna be on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not tripping off of anything else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really getting mad at everything. So it is what it is. So we can't get mad at certain things. So when you see things like that, it's just like kids, they're gonna just come out and say some reckless stuff. But see, YouTube don't help things, even though YouTube is a large platform for children and other things. And I would say like it's a combination. I'll say to be fair for YouTube, I would say it's a balance between ages 65 and over, all the way down. I'll say 65 and on down, right? I'll say from 0 to 65. YouTube is wide. Yes, you got YouTube for kids. That's for them, supposedly. They need an 18 over for most of them, really. And just have that small gap for the teenagers. But the adults, you already know. And it just goes to show you where we at in society. So when you look at things like that, kids gonna watch wild cartoons like what they call it, Huggy Wuggy, kind of name. It's a silly, sweet ass name. It's just, and they say he's a villain. Well, okay, but that's cool. Like in their mind, that's their pesky villain. He looks pesky to me, but and it looks finesse to me. They make the villain character soft nowadays, but these kids think that's spooky. But that's their generation. This is the generation of probably my great cousins, younger great cousins, generation of cartoons. I can't tell them to not watch that shit. They might love that shit. But in bad parenting, if you think it's violent, you think it's violent. What's going on, Nadia? Salute. And it's what it is. We see this a lot. So you're gonna have bad cartoons like that. So when you have things like that, you understand there's so much time, people are going to be who they are. But one thing I can tell y'all in this, sometimes we have bad stuff like this, it goes around and it comes around. So, you know what I'm saying? But, like I said, but being an independent thinker, you just have to have your mind. So, so like I said, it's usually not an open topic, but if y'all want to come up, that's fine. But I'm just gonna drop it if anyone slides through. But yeah, but that kid, and when I saw from Scott as I read that article, man, that shit is wild, bro. That shit is wild. And pin it. Yeah, I'm gonna pin that shit. So I'm gonna minimize that conversation again. But yeah, sometimes when you have children, I observe people's kids sometimes, parenting and things like that, my families and stuff like that. I ain't a parent yet. I wish I was, but man, I'm glad I ain't have them in different years. I have been hell for me. But I understand when my sister was little, I kind of practically raised her. It was 11-year difference. So it's a different ball game. Now she understands it's not real and fake. She's gotten better over the years, and then she realized that I had to tell her, don't fall for that bullshit. It's good to have siblings. Now the siblings that not teach that 3-year-old boy, and they're girls, by the way, when I read that article, that's bad. But it's normal. You see that a lot in female older children, and then you have a younger brother. So that's very common. I went to school with people like little guys like him. He survived, they protect him and shit like that. But once he get older, he's still gonna have that mindset. It's never going away. It's never going away. It's never going to go away. He has his own independent thinking skills. Guess what happens? There's pros and cons to it. If he does some dumb shit and he trusts into the bullshit he believes in, it's y'all's fault and it's your fault. If you trust in him making good judgments and then you taught him all this bad shit, it's your fault as a parent. And it is his fault for trusting in things that he should not believe in. So it goes both ways. You have to understand. It's just like I think Tassi said about the woman part. That's absolutely right. Yeah, if you trust in a woman that's not right for you, it's your fault. You're going to have to deal with that for the rest of your life. And that's called accountability and responsibility. You got to understand about your own dereliction 95% of the time. You have to understand that there's consequences to everything. Sometimes it's natural. Sometimes it's given by another person. Sometimes it deals with orders and people that you deal with, your own structures. Sometimes you got to deal with people that's made to be put in these positions by the Most High. The Most High put people in certain positions to check your ass if you're in the wrong. It happens all the time. He did it with me. So yes, I believe in the Heavenly Father and His Word and His grace. So I live by those standards, but sometimes I'm well aware of what's going on. So I'm not dumb out here. I'm just letting y'all know, especially on YouTube. So you got to treat people what they are. So you can't get mad at everything that's on the internet because a lot of these dudes ain't really built like that. I just let them be who they are and just let them get their shit off, and that's it. But on this channel, they can. But if they try to come at me sideways on some bullshit and it ain't true, you out of here, man. It's just it is. I have one policy. You can say what you want. Yeah, you can say one in the chat or the panel. If you disagree with my points, it's cool. But if you come on some personal attacks and all that shit, I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time for that. Ain't gonna be no shouting match up here. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. If you coming from somewhere else and trying to start some shit, it's not gonna fly over here because I already made that as my policy. Because I done check a few people, especially them white boys. See, y'all ain't forgot about that. I was listening to that conversation that Gino had with a certain individual on the panel. He was talking about racism. Well, I don't see y'all niggas stopping them trims, transracial identified males. And see, this is the problem because they have their own minds. We destroyed them last year. Hell, y'all should have destroyed them on y'all's channel, but y'all let them on panels and shit and in chat rooms and wrenching them up. They're going to say some reckless shit to you. But that's the whole point I'm trying to say in so many words. A lot of people just want to deal with the same old bullshit. I understand people don't like listen to me for saying it, but it's the truth. Like I was saying that last year, bro. Like the shit that y'all saying, I was saying that last year. Y'all want to come over here and act stupid. And I was watching that stream. Shouts out to Gino. Salute to the bro. And that individual, they're gonna say that coon shit. And and shouts out to Pastor for entertaining that show yesterday, the other day, or was it yesterday? Yesterday, and that was a hell of a show he did. He shout out to him for getting people in the box. I told him do this thing, he's good. But that child is reckless. We know the child's reckless. She's gonna be who she is. Lee, let's. I want to say shouts out to the child. I mean, let's see, or whatever your name is, let her be who she is. I mean, let the girl alone. Let her be who she is. This is relevant of the subject right now. That person, just let her be. I won't be a fair man today. Let her be, because she's gonna be who she is, regardless of the bullshit that we done seen. She needs that attention. And I'll tell you this, Pastor, if you make her a co-host, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. You gonna get the hate. You gonna get the hate, Pastor, but I ain't mad at you. Salute to you, man, and keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing. I'm just not gonna listen to that consent talk. You know what I'm saying? I'll support you. I ain't gonna listen to that consent talk. As soon as she talk about that shit, I'm done. Everybody knows where she stands at. So it is what it is. So you can't just get mad at everything that a person says all the time, because people say some a lot of dumb shit to get online, and that's what they do. This is the internet. People are going to say a lot of reckless ass shit to say, well, I didn't mean to say that. I'm going to be who I am. I'm standing up my belief system. Everybody thinks it's a religion over here, but it is what it is. It is what it ain't. But I'm just saying, like, don't expect people to co-sign that long term. So yeah, and I'm looking at this microphone right here. I can plug up two mics, talk to y'all. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, man. It is what it is, man. Just put one across and on my chest and just lay it over there. I can't do that, but well, I'll think about it later. It's gonna be like that. You know, loving my new setups and shit. But enough about tech talk, because I know y'all don't like tech talk. So I'm gonna talk about this over here. So nobody likes tech talk over here. It is what it is. So it's 57 minutes and 56 seconds. So but it is what it is. I think a lot of times people just are going to be expounded on. And I'm not saying that some people just saying that that's going to be what it is at first, and it's just it's just going to be in that realm. So I understand that people ain't going to talk about this as much, but when you look at it from that aspect, you just like saying, okay, this is what it is. So but I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I think people have a right to view what they want to view. You know what I'm saying? Like this stuff is nothing new. But when you're in the independent thinking series moment, you just stick with it. So I'm not going in nothing right here. So because it gets an hour. I don't see how long this will go. I don't see how long this will go. Because sometimes, because I got time tonight. I got time tonight because I don't think people is acting crazy tonight, because it's gonna be one of those times, because I know tomorrow's gonna be dead. People are just out here doing things, and it's just what it is. Oh wow, okay, interesting, interesting. I know people's busy and everywhere else, looking at things, but but shouts out to Melody and Classic Ruby. That's a good duo. What they call it, upfront media at 7 p.m. until Thursday 7 p.m. I might check that out. Yeah, Melody's Sweet Melody Speaks is cool. She's always cool. She need to get away from Game Changers ass. To be honest with you, she need to go away from Game Changer. I know she's cool, but that's cool. Shouts out to them, but It is what it is. So yeah, I think Ruby was in that picture. We're not gonna, you know. Oh, speaking of which, shouts out to the NCAA champions, Kansas Jayhawks. I don't fuck with y'all. I don't fuck with y'all because I'm surprised they beat North Carolina. I thought it was gonna be an upset, but North Carolina didn't get the job done. See, Jayhawks got their fourth championship. Yeah, man, that's another thing too. Yes, I talk about sports on this channel too, but you niggas thought I wasn't gonna talk about that. See, y'all thought I wasn't gonna talk about sports. It is what it is. And it's every other Tuesday when we talk about we talk about sports over here. We talk about a lot. You know, a lot of people's gonna be asleep and things like that. This ain't no marathon because I know niggas don't care what I say anymore. And that's it. You know, I'm just doing it for content. I just want the replay value. Y'all listen to this on the playback. So I already know what time it is. The hate is real, and it is what it is. It's just people don't want to deal with you on Tuesday night, and it's one of those nights that it's gonna be like that for the rest of the time. I got to put the content out, man. Like I'm not stopping for nobody. It's emotional behavior, and you know people gonna watch it on the replay, and it's cool. I don't give a fuck. I treat things what it is, but you're gonna see a difference in me. I can't wait, man. Like the shit that we see is nothing new, but it's just like I gotta say something. I gotta say something, you know. But Thursday thrills, that's gonna come back in June. Y'all gonna see it full swing. You may see open streams like that late night. You're gonna see the same time as always. People gonna hate. I don't give a shit. It's gonna be very interesting, and I will be gone for like that whole month and come right back. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna support. I'm just let the views grow up. You know what I'm saying? I'll watch a series of those streams and write some shit down. And it is what it is. But you got people that's not gonna like what I'm gonna say regardless. But yeah, but shouts out to the NCAA tournament. That was exciting. That was fun. Yeah, Kansas won, and I mean, they fourth championship. Wow, man, Kansas Jayhawks. I mean, let's look at the history of Kansas. Yeah, the Jayhawks. I don't give a fuck about Topeka, Kansas, but you know what it is. You know, yeah, they won the championship. They fourth championship. They're the champions. They're the world champions. St. Peter's and all this other shit. St. Peter's Peacocks. Let's see. Let's look at the wiki. Oh, it's in New Jersey. I didn't know that. It was in Jersey City. I didn't know it was from Jersey. St. Peter's is in Jersey. Okay. Okay. What's the NIT 1957 first round, blah blah blah. They knew. They gained actually as a number 2 seed, 22 history. They've been one of those teams that finally made it. Oh, they ain't got no history. Boo. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. They one of them baby teams that's been trash for years in college. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. They've been trash for years. Oh, my God. Here we go. The national champions, baby. The national champs been around a long time. They've been in this World College Championships. 1889, 1907, James Smith era. Yeah, Kansas was something else. And then you had Wilt Chamberlain used to play for him. Roy Williams era, 1988 to 2003. Yeah. Yeah, he didn't last long. Larry Brown was there for 1983 to 1988. It was Larry Brown era. And then, yeah, that was in the 80s. And Roy Williams, he lasted in 03. He didn't last. Bill Self's been there since 2003 and present. So it is 19 years. Yeah, going on 20. Yeah, that's about right. He's been there since 03. See, the Bill Self's been around a long time. He's been coaching that team for 19 years. He built that program. So he won a championship with Kansas, and that's just what it is. So you know what I'm saying, and that's just what it is. What you see. So and then that's how you look at it. So they got all the championships. Okay, the conference tournament, big championship, Final Four history. Oh, they was runner up. They was champion in '52. They was champion '88. They was champion 1988. That was with Larry Brown, I believe, right? Yeah, Larry Brown won a championship with them in '88. Okay. He also was an NBA champion as a head coach in '04 with the Pistons, right? Yeah, Larry Brown. I do remember that. He did one with Kansas. But in 2008, that was with who's that 2008 championship? That's with Bill Self. Okay, so basically Bill Self, that was his second championship with the Jayhawks. He won one in 2008. So Bill Self's been with them since '03 and '08. Yeah, I remember Bill Self. So in '08, he was their coach in '08. So he took them there. Now 2022, that's the second championship in 19 years. So they was on him. See, he built that program, man. He built that program. So when he built that program, it's just like, let me show y'all something real quick. So make sure I'm not capping because y'all over here tripping. But shouts out to the people that came through. But yeah, man. I let me talk about sports for a minute. Let's get off to the current events with the Huggy Wuggies. That's a sensitive topic. I'll talk about that in a vlog stream. It's sad, but the world is divided on that. But yeah, right up in here. Okay, so 1952 was a different coach. 1988 was, Larry Brown era. Bill Self was 2003, right? And I do remember him as coach around this time. I was like 15 at the time while I was watching basketball. And I remember him over the years in '08. He won the championship. That was Bill Self. And that was his second championship. So very interesting how they won. So that's their fourth championship in team history. So they're getting up there. Yeah, Kansas, one of them schools, is a powerhouse in the day. They had a lot of good players come out of Kansas. Kansas is not one of the baddest teams. So yeah, man, they won the championship. They won one in '88. I remember 2008 national championship. I remember that. That was not Roy Williams. That's Bill Self. See, Bill Self. Let's read this right here. 2007-08. I remember this. This is when I was out of high school. Team won the Jayhawks' third national NCAA tournament. They were coached by Bill Self and finished the season with 37-3 record, which a school record for wins in a season. So that's some years. Oh wow, that's the last time. So you know what time it is. So yeah, man. And we're just gonna look at it for real quick. And that's how you look at it. So and I'm just gonna look at it like I remember this championship. So he was 37 the record, and yeah, they beat Memphis. They beat Memphis for the championship. The Memphis Tigers. Yeah, they beat Stevie. Was it? It wasn't Stevie Francis. That was what's his name? Derrick Rose. They beat Derrick Rose. They beat Derrick Rose. Memphis. Yeah, they beat Memphis. I remember that. They beat Memphis. That was Memphis. I remember that. They beat North Carolina in the Final Four. See, this is a repeat of 2008. They beat the Tar Heels. They beat the Davidson team with Steph Curry was on. They beat Davidson. They beat Villanova. I do remember that. And they beat UNLV. I remember seeing this. Yeah, in Portland State. They beat Portland State Vikings, men. So they actually played the Memphis Tigers. So they actually beat them. That's a 2008 Bill Self. And this last championship, would you see, the team won Jayhawks tournament championship, which is most recent. They were coached by Bill Self and finished with the record the season with 34 and 6 record. Not bad. It's better than Well, actually, it's the second best 37 record regular season. So Kansas was good. So they beat Texas Southern, of course, Texas Southern Tigers, which that's a decent team, but they never had no history. So Texas Southern, they've been around for some years, but they never had no historical history in championships. Creighton Blue Jays is they call them Creighton Jays. It's Blue Jays, but they always call them Creighton Jays for short. That's Creighton Jays team. Then they had the Providence Friars. They beat the Friars. I remember people saying that in Kansas. Of course, they beat the Miami Hurricanes. I like the football team more than the basketball team. The basketball team's okay, but the football team is my favorite. They did beat my Wildcats. I remember that. That was a shocker. That was a shocker to me. But this was a close game right here. So they beat the Tar Heels. Tar Heels wasn't easy. So yeah, Bill Self knew what the fuck he was doing. Kansas came from a comeback win. So they're your national champs. 4 championships. Players is notable: Clyde Lovett-Lil, Paul Endicott, Wilt Chamberlain, Danny Manning. I remember Danny Manning back in 1988 with what's his name, Larry Brown. Paul Pierce. I remember Paul Pierce, 1998. Paul Pierce. Your NBA greats: Wilt Chamberlain, Paul Pierce, Hall of Fame, and then they got Danny Manning. That's it. Dean Smith, North Carolina. Adolph Ruff coached at Kentucky. They were former players inducted as coaches. Yeah. Adolph Ruff, they say he used to play for Kansas. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's a possibility. Then you got Ralph Miller. Yeah, man, it is what it is. It's gone, degenerate. Salute, salute. But yeah, man, it's just one of those things that you see a lot, and the history of, and just sit there and just talk. But and then they got the Olympians and all that. So yeah, Olympic gold medalist JoJo White used to play for Kansas. My fault. He used to play for Kansas. JoJo White. Dean Smith, head coach. Was he a coach? I think he was a coach or Olympians or a player. I think they were players. I don't know. Danny Manning was a player. Yeah, he was bronze. Yeah, JoJo White. That was back in what, 68? I believe it was 68. Yeah, JoJo White. Yeah, he was with Kansas. It was JoJo White. That's about right. Yeah, it's a long time. Jayhawks and NBA. Jayhawks have multiple connections to the NBA below. Yeah. R.C. Buford, general manager of the San Antonio Spurs. He went to Kansas. Kevin Pritchard. I know who Kevin Pritchard is. He's the president of basketball operations with the Indiana Pacers. I remember Kevin Pritchard, R.C. Buford. Nick Collison, another one. Yeah, he used to play for the Thunder. He used to play for the Supersonics before they became the Thunder. And Alvin Gentry's another one. He went to Kansas. Assistant coach, yes. Assistant coach. Greg Popovich, Kansas. He was the head coach of the Spurs. He went to Kansas. That's true. Greg Popovich went to Kansas. He was in Kansas. He went to University of Kansas. Him, Alvin Gentry went to the same school. Jacques Vaughn. He used to play for the Jazz. I remember him used to play for the Jazz. A lot of people think he played for the Nets. Jacques Vaughn. Assistant coach for the Brooklyn Nets. Played at Kansas. He's a volunteer assistant with the Kansas Jayhawks. Okay, that's where I remember Greg Popovich from. Yeah, he was an assistant for them. He was assistant coach for them back in the 80s in the Kansas. I would say the Kansas Jayhawks. They were assistant coaches. My fault. Yeah, I forgot. He went to some other college, but he was part of a college coaching in Kansas. So before he went to Golden State, whatever. But Jacques Vaughn, I remember him. He used to play for the Jazz. I remember Jacques Vaughn. He used to be a backup for John Stockton. Michael Lee, Golden State Warriors, player scout, played at Kansas around this time. He played with Bill Self. Bill Self was his coach because it says '01 into '05. 2003 from '05, that was his coach, Bill Self. So, yeah. Terry Nooner, assistant coach. Cleveland Cavaliers played at Kansas 96 and 2000. That was I believe that was it the Larry Brown era or something like that, or somebody else? No, Roy Williams. My fault. The Roy Williams era. He was in the Roy Williams was his coach. His head coach was Roy Williams. Same with Michael Lee, even though he had Bill Self on the tail end. Aaron Miles, player development, played at Kansas. Roy Williams and Bill Self, similar to Michael Lee. Rex Walters, I would say Roy Williams or something like that, or Larry Brown or something like that in the tail end. But his current players. So the current players is Udoka Azuki from the Utah Jazz. I think he played with Kansas, Abuki or something like that. I don't say Udoka. I don't say Udoka played for him. Timothy, Udoka Timothy. I think he played for the Jazz. Utah. Joel Embiid used to play for Kansas. He's a Kansas alumni from the Philadelphia 76ers. He's Kansas. So Joel Embiid, Udoka, Devontae Graham, Josh Jackson. I remember Josh Jackson. Yeah, Josh Jackson. He used to play for Kansas. I remember him when he got drafted. Josh Jackson. Ben McLemore. Ben McLemore played for him. I remember him. He used to play for the Kings. He's Kansas. These are guys that play for Kansas. Marquise Morris, the Morris twins play for Kansas. A lot of people don't know that. One's Miami and the Clippers. This Ukrainian player, CV, he probably went back to Ukraine and fight. He plays with the Raptors, but he also went to Kansas. Interesting. That's the second player in the NBA that I noticed that played for one of the NCAA schools. One went to Wright State, Potapenko, and the other one that played for Kansas, another decent school, better than Wright State. Kelly Oubre, he plays for the he used to play for Kansas. He went to Kansas. Interesting. I didn't know that. Kelly Oubre went to Kansas. So, okay, so he did went to Kansas. He went to a good school. Andrew Wiggins went to Kansas, Golden State. So, yeah, it's noticeable players that played for Kansas. The current NBA players. The former players, Wilt Chamberlain, Walter Roger Brown. Yeah, Walter Roger Brown. He's played for the ABA and the NBA. He's retired. Bill Bridges, Tariq Black, Charles Black, Daryl Arthur, Colt Aldridge. Colt Aldridge used to play for him. Eric Chinwith, Nick Collison, like we read earlier, he used to play for him. He used to play for the Sonics before they became the Thunder. Greg Durling. Greg Durling. Yeah. Ron France. Drew Gooden. I remember Drew Gooden. Xavier Henry. Wayne Hightower. Kirk Heinrich. Adonis Jordan. Ron Kellogg. Wrong, Allison Kellogg Jr. Okay. Maury King. Ray LaFrance. I remember Ray LaFrance. He used to play for the Denver Nuggets. He used to play for the Denver Nuggets, and then he went to the Celtics. I remember Ray LaFrance. He didn't last that long. He retired in 09. I remember Ray LaFrance back in the day. I used to have NBA Live. I remember him. He used to play for the Nuggets before he went to the Celtics and various other teams. There's Clyde Lovett-Lett, something like that. Danny Manning. I remember Danny Manning. Thomas Robertson. He's another one. Frank Mason III. Greg Ostertag used to play for him. He used to play for the Jazz. Greg Ostertag. Paul Pierce, the Hall of Famer Paul Pierce. He used to play for him. We mentioned him already. Scott Pollard. I remember Scott Pollard. He used to play for the Kings, several other teams. Yeah, Scott Pollard used to play for him. He retired 2017. I didn't know that. No, 2008. My fault. Scott Pollard retired in '08. Yeah, he didn't last that long. He came in the era where in the late '90s, yeah, Scott Pollard was something else. He was a role player. He wasn't cut out. When the age of the big man, when this guy went out, he was gone in '08. Then there's Kevin Pritchard. Kevin Pritchard didn't really last long. Mark Randall. You got Brandon Rush. I remember Brandon Rush. He didn't last long. 2017. Calvin Thompson. Calvin Thompson. He used to play for Kansas. Jacques Vaughn, Rex Walters, of course. And you got Julian Wright, Jeff Whitney, JoJo White, and Walt Wesley. So, there's notable players that play for him. So, I'm gonna copy this and put this in the chat. So, yeah, I'm just going to put this in the chat. Guess what I'm reading. I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. But yeah, I was looking at that today and you know, from last night and they was talking about those players, but that's what it is. I mean, when you have guys like that, that's the players you look at. So, I'm a basketball head, I'm gonna be like that all day. It's just what it is. And sometimes you just gotta look at it like that. Let me get the C type charger off. The C type is crazy. But you get what you get. What's going on, Toyota Ultimate Tutor? I ain't stopped sharing. What you talking about? Stingy? Stingy what? I don't know what you're talking about. I've been busy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. All right. Stop sharing your screen. Stop sharing. Oh, that. Oh, yeah, yeah. That was a little history. Y'all ain't into that. Y'all know nothing about that. Y'all don't know about them basketball. Yeah. Oh, what's going on, Mahogany? Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, man. I had to talk about the that championship last night. I mean, that's some crazy shit. Yeah. And it's just what it is. But you gotta have your own, your own mindset. But one thing I noticed about that team, at least they had like, let's say, I think they fourth championship. I'm not big on Kansas. I've been to Topeka, Kansas, I think decades ago when I was young, and it was boring. I learned my lesson though. I knew the Midwest was boring, but I learned a lot over time. I was wrong about it. I thought the state where I come from was boring. Shit, I went to the Midwest. I had a rude awakening at 10 years old, man. That fucked my head up, man. And never again. Never again. I thought Utah was, but shit. Kansas got y'all beat. I mean, it's probably boring places, but it was nothing to do in Topeka, Kansas. I'm talking about Topeka, Kansas, y'all. Never again. Now, Kansas City, yes, but Topeka, Kansas, oh hell no. I'm not dealing with that. I am not dealing with that. And it's just what it is, man. Like, but if you want to be a man out there in Kansas, yeah, go out there and own the fields. I'm just saying. Go out there, own the fields. Do something out there. You're gonna be, and it's just what it is. She's 5'5". She says she'll leave. Okay, I'm gonna leave Instagram alone. Yeah, April's gonna be a wild, wild season. We're gonna leave April alone. April is wild. We're gonna see what's what. Yeah, April's gonna be wild. So I ain't worried. Oh, she's so, is exhausted. Okay, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long day for people. But but as an independent thinker, you think of different things. But I I had to stop sharing the screen because I know people ain't gonna like me talking about sports because sports can be boring for some people, tech and all that stuff. But it is what it is. That's what I like to talk about. That's what I do. I read a lot. I read everything. I read every other thing, even the ones I'm not interested in. I try to read some, even news articles. I read something that I get my hands on. I used to read the newspaper when I was younger. So you got to look at things like that. Sometimes I kind of stop talking about certain things and then I just move on to something else, even though it's the same pattern. But I just want to get away from that huggy wuggy cartoon. That shit, and it's the beginning of the tail end of the stream. That shit is wild. Like kids cannot have fun anymore. But I blame the parenting too, because if you think it's violent, that's on you too. So it's like you're responsible for these individuals going crazy on the internet. So I'm very curious about certain people how they raise their kids, but you question things like that. But that ain't my place because I'm not a parent like that. If I was a parent, I wouldn't let them watch certain things. I let them watch some things. Sometimes you can't monitor what they do, man. Sometimes my parents let me slip up and fuck up and say, "Hey, you have a mind on. You think for your damn self." That's how they was. They already disciplined me mentally and physically. Now it's up to you to be responsible for what you watch. See, when I got a certain age, I'll say about 10 and 15 ish. They told me you're responsible for what you take in. Just like on the internet, they told me that. My father told me this. He told me this when I first had the internet by myself away from the family computers and shit. Even though I went outside and stuff, he said, you are responsible for what you listen to, what you hear. He was telling me that at age, I'll say about 15, quiet as kept. Because when I had fully responsibility of the internet, he said, you are responsible for what you take in. That's it. And that stuck right with me till the age of 15 until now. That's why I'm not as crazy as most individuals. I learned to leave this shit off. It's going to happen. That's just part of it. Once you get a certain age, you're supposed to know better. So certain things you intake, they're supposed to learn that. See, a lot of kids ain't gonna learn that. They've been coddled and spoiled, and their parents never give a damn about them. It's a combination of what they do, but it's a combination of what they did. So it's like a give and take thing. Then you wonder why they turn on you. Kids will turn on you. They'll turn on you in RB. I've seen a lot of shit down here. They be so ornery. They don't give a fuck. They let you know, hey, I ain't listening to your ass. And that's why you got certain spaces like these to pay attention that this shit goes on. So I can't fault people that's already fucked up. They need therapy and they need help. Quiet as kept, I only help the select few, but the ones that's chronically ill, I can't. You on your own on that shit. You on your own to build that conversation. So basically, you just there for attention. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not really worried about anything else that everybody speaks on. You know what I'm saying? But you got to understand something right quick. Most people just don't give a shit how society is, and especially the Huggy Wuggy story that I've read. That's some wild shit, man. Like, hey, y'all scared of a damn cartoon? Woo! Man, y'all some ass backwards ass people, man. I'm not even tripping off this shit, bro. Like learning about audio sounds and shit like that. It is what it is, man. Like I gotta look at this real quick. So it is what it is, man. Like I appreciate everybody coming through, man. But I'll go on probably another hour because I know people ain't coming through. This is one of those nights that I just want to come here and just kick it with y'all. because this may not be. I ain't trying to make this a damn marathon, so you already know. Because independent thinking series is basically you get away from the madness and you just think about real shit, current events, what's going on, daily updates, and it speeds up to the day. Because Tuesday is gonna be the day, but Hump Day will be tomorrow. Yes, we're gonna talk about contractualism. We're gonna talk about social contract, contractarianism. I might have to bring it up again. Might play up what I was talking about, the social contracts. Some people get upset about that. I gotta do some searches. You know what I'm saying? But this is the whole point. The whole point is you do what you gotta do, man, because that's the thing about me is learning this stuff and just getting right into it. So I'm not even upset with it. So when you have things like this, you just get with it. But it is what it is. So I'm just like, but shouts out to Mace, man. I know everything's cool, but man, he went at old girl, man. Woo! I didn't know it was like that, but I'm gonna stay out of it. I mean, shouts out to Mace. Salute to Mace. I know he has a good show. I know he's be streaming. I can't be everywhere, man. Like I got my own shit to deal with, but support the brother, man. It's always salute over here, man. It's always, it's just shit. I got my hands tied for the moment. Gotta get this mind going, especially with these pre-records I'm about to drop. During I will say probably in July and shit. Subject matters I need to cover. So we gotta talk about some things. But the politics down here, man, with that what's her name? What's her name? What's her name? What's her name? Shit, it's trying to escape me. What's her name? That Democrat that's running for governor for Kemp. Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams. I'm my mind's being bumfuzzled right now. Stacey Abrams. Yeah, she's all over the ads on YouTube. I live in GA, by the way. She's going against a guy that doesn't give a damn about the people down here, the Republicans. So we're gonna be what it is. So this stuff is right around the corner. So I'm gonna be participating in that. So wish me luck. But it is what it is. And we're gonna say, hey, because I got another hour to kill. So, I'll see who's gonna come through. If not, I'll shut it down because it's one of those nights. It's one of those nights. I think people are just tired and drained. And I'm sky watching my show right now. It's called Devin Wade Show. It's every Tuesday. And he's got a good podcast show, and I love that shit, man. It's entertaining. And they said, what's the title of this shit? What's the title of this shit? It's called Trustworthy Sex Workers Paying to House My Baby Mom's Boyfriend. Wow. Damn crazy. And it says DWSEP 114 featuring major figures Dutch. Oh, they got Dutch on the thing. Uh oh. That's gonna piss Gilly off. That's gonna piss Gilly off. No, he didn't. Devin, don't do this shit. Gilly, I watched $1 million worth of game, y'all, but he gonna throw a shot at this nigga, man. Why? This shit, them back and forth is entertaining. Even though I watch both of their podcasts and it's fun, I like Devin's better than Gilly's. Gilly's is entertaining. He had Mike Tyson, he had Aaron Donald. They had some good. Both of them got good, great guests. It's fair, but it's fucked up that they split like that based off of money. That's basically what I'm telling y'all, man. That happens. As it's part of dealing with nigga business and shit like that. But it's a good show. But I think Art's gonna come on right after. I'll tell him what's up in a minute. It is what it is. Art know what the deal is. So it's always respect over here. And it's just like you got to get your foot in. That's just how it is. So yeah, man. He said staying away from LeBron. Two Raw Sports. He said best decision stay away from LeBron. Everybody be saying that. They don't like little biscuit Jays, man. Y'all ain't shit, bro. Y'all need to leave LeBron alone. I know LeBron's fucked up, but goddamn, yo, y'all crazy, bro. Melly, oh man, Melly's a fool. I can't wait for a show Thursday night because I won't have a short segment, news segment, DTNs. You know, it's just showing some screenshots for these crazy niggas, man. These niggas is wild, bro. Oh, I love doing DTNs, man. DTNs are fun. It's just so fun to me. Like we had a white Pookie, y'all. We had a white Pookie on the Lapeef network. He called himself the Pookie Bear. I think I got that screenshot. I think it's in my phone, but white Pookie. He called himself the Pookie Polar Bear. I said, I'm gonna keep that screenshot, man. That's some funny ass shit, man. If someone asked me about that screenshot, I said, yeah, here you go. Here you go. And then I showed y'all last week about Minister Jap, but this Mia True said, she said, please stop the theories. Our democracy is still intact. Trump lost. Let's move on. Trump, it's in the super chat. Trump literally built wealth from hearing African American communities. Biden is 79 years old. People blame him for the world. Yeah, it is what it is. But I got some interesting screenshots for y'all. Y'all gonna be tripping. Yeah, I'll get some more tonight, probably. But this week, we'll see. I'm gonna tell what's up to Art. Yeah, man. But shouts out to Art last week with the ladies, man. He had Toy, he had everybody. Shouts out to Shonda and everybody. Y'all ladies did great. Y'all did great. I did peep that stream, and it was just what it was. But it is what it is. I was peeping that, and y'all had a good conversation. I was bouncing around. I think it was last Sunday. Yeah, it was this past Sunday. I enjoyed that shit. And yeah, man, Art's doing his thing. He toned down that nigga shit. He had to do what he had to do. So basically, it is what it is. And that's how you look at it in so many words. But yeah, yeah, and I think that's very telling what's people's coming through. So yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, when I was looking at that strave, I'm like, that's a good route. Like I told you, that Lapeef shit, I told y'all that is, and I said this last year, is co-ed panels of the future. I think they are in some degrees. If you want to talk about relationships and actual shit, you got to have women in your segment. You got to have something to counteract and not be a glorified echo chamber, like I said a couple of weeks back. And I repeat this all the time. You got to make that standard. You got to make that comfortable in your content and things like that. I have no issue. This is why I talk to them in the chat room. Sometimes I talk to them on panels if they want to participate, wherever subject there is. See, I can't talk about feminism all day, 95% of the time. That's what these dudes in the manosphere talk about all the time. I don't talk about that shit. You got to put some research, context, pictures, let them debate it, ask them about it. Don't ask them weird questions about our little personal shit. We'll never agree to it because we're all brainwashed and fucked by the white media because they divided our genders up. It's a process. If y'all verse in that area, that's cool, but it's a process. You can't change people. You got to deal with facts. But one side's going to be biased because it's controlled like that. So they got us fucked up. So I stay away from the racial part of feminism. Let's talk about the actual feminism, the real problem. The racial part just don't make no sense. Everybody's gonna be biased. I say this all the time. I'm like, nah, we'll never get anywhere. I ain't gonna have my opinions. I'm just not gonna discuss it because I have a different viewpoint of looking at it. But y'all brainwash on both sides. It's not just one side, it's both sides. And you got one side that never gonna be always wrong. So I ain't gonna argue with you. I'm just gonna kill the discussion. It's stupid because we ain't gonna get anywhere. It's programmed in both people's heads. And that's the thing about both people. When they get programmed like that, they forget about the real shit. And that's the thing that you're dealing with people. Because some people ain't just gonna be an outpedance in it. So basically that's just what it is. So and then when you have things like that, that's the basic the things that you deal with all the time. So not worried about it. And that's the point of the principles that you see. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times you got people want to go against certain things. It's just how this is how you look at it, in so many words. So yeah, it is what it is. So when you get in those conversations, a lot of people just going to be like, man, she done took my child support, took my kids. You hear this a lot, and then you hear niggas be complaining like, you got to fight for it, nigga. You know, it's all the time. But Instagram and Twitter is not reality, bro. Can't use that as an argument. The internet's not your reality. You gotta go outside and actually explain what these type of women are. Take pictures, take notes, and do the real people do if you're in those subjects. And it's best to have them on panels too, because what I like about these channels that I be trolling and showing shots and the fuckery they be doing, and then they have motherfuckers naming Pookie polar bears and shit, which is cool. I want you to see niggas don't really care. They just have anybody on their panels, and then you have women antagonize them. We understand that women antagonize them all the time, but that's what they're supposed to do, especially on the internet. They're not always like that. They're programmed like that. And a lot of times when you deal with an uncultured, what did Ram 313 said, like uncultured females, which they are uncultured, the ones that's like that, she's gonna act like that. I mean, but she's programmed to think like that. And the reason she's programmed to think like that is because society done made it in a way to make her like that. So basically what I'm saying is you can't expect much for certain individuals. You cannot get mad when certain individuals don't want to comply to certain situations, right? So when you have things like that, it becomes a problem long term. Long term, you think yourself, you think you're the best in the world, but you're really not. You know what I'm saying? You're really not. So when you have things like that, you expect people to acknowledge that, right? So when you're not best in the world, you got to look at things like that. And that's the thing that people don't understand, that you hear all this stuff, you expect people to understand you long term. So that's what I'm saying. But you got to look at it like when people look at you, you got to look at the big picture. So that's the thing about me, because when you look at things like that, and that's just how it's going to sound, regardless of what's what. And I'm just like looking at it like, you know, and that's how it is. Well, and I'm glad I don't talk about it on the channel as much. I mean, they said you should talk about feminism. People in the chat room, like, that gives you views. Of course, it will give me views. Next thing you know, if I say something wrong, they'll attack me on some bullshit. And it's usually right. I'll break down not just kicking out the house, but actually who created it. I probably do the historical aspects of it, what other philosophies birthed that, and you understand that. But I don't go in depth on that because it's been overly used. People have different perspectives how they look at feminism, and they'll look at you like you crazy. I don't even speak on it quite as because everybody's gonna be biased on the ideology. You know what I'm saying? I don't even talk about it at all. You don't even hear me on the lexicon on this channel. I reference it and say brief shit, bring the philosophy aspect, and we know it's bullshit because men created that concept to fuck up both genders, the people up top. That's why I'm gonna come at it. I'm gonna come at it from that angle. See, y'all coming at it from the 60s political bullshit aspect. No, I come from a philosophy aspect that's not realistic. Most women didn't act like that. They love their men and shit like that. They was programmed to think like that by weak men that runs this world in power. So yeah, y'all niggas don't know shit about feminism. I break that down to a science, to a syllable. I can give you sources and links on that shit, but I don't teach the worthless people that don't think for themselves. You have to have an independent mind how you look at feminism because it's been overly used a lot. It's a waste of philosophy talk, you know, because everybody uses it as a mantra in the manosphere. That's why I stay away from topics like that because people are going to be biased. It's going to trigger the opposite sex. It's going to trigger people that's weak and don't do research. And that's just the thing about feminism. You got to be careful with that topic. It's worse than the J topic over at Israel and things like that. You know, the EWs, of course. You know, no hate over here. I'm just saying that's one of them. And then you got topics like everything else. Everything is censorship. So YouTube and Google's well, actually, Google and YouTube is not the place for that. That's why you have to be very, very careful what you say. You have to use subliminals. You got to throw shots. Subliminals is all time high. That's why everybody's using subliminals now. You barely can say some shit now. So Google and YouTube won't last as a platform. I would say, to be fair, I'll be serious with you. To be fair, Google may. I don't know about YouTube, but YouTube won't last forever because it's a possibility somebody can buy both of those companies. You know how America is. They ain't gonna let one giant be the other because Microsoft's a giant by Bill Gates and all them. So that's the whole purpose of them. So that's just the whole thing with it. So when you deal with stuff like that, you understand what's going on in so many purposes. So when you see this a lot, that's just the thing that I've noticed when you talk about different things and different subject matters, and you see this all the time. So when you look at topics like, if you want to go extreme, for example, when you talk about feminism and things like that, and you talk about the political aspects with how they treat men and things like that's cool, but when you hear it so many, like, for decades, like, yeah, Sergeant Willie P talked about it for years. To me, these niggas don't do proper research, and the talking points come from him and things like that. That shit was dead, bro. That shit died a long time ago. So basically, what I'm saying is, in so many words, spoken words and spoken factions, you see this a lot. So when you see certain individuals talking about it a lot, they ain't stay in their lane about that. And that's the problem with certain individuals. What I have with it is they overly use certain words and trigger words, and then you wonder why women don't listen to them as much. So the women is a great aspect to talk about. But shouts out to Duke and Don. He was saying this, and I said that them topics are boring. Yes, I'm the same way. I said this last year. Those topics are fucking boring. They was boring to me last year. Quiet schedule. That's why I left the shit in March last year. I was a part of it, and I left it in March last year. I'm not a part of that shit. People thought I was a part of it last April of last year, and this is gonna be a year since I started live streaming in April. I forget what day though when I started doing this type of content and mixing it up with pre-records and vlog streams. I did the vlog streams first and this, and then next thing you know, this continue on, and then I upgraded my gear and stuff, interface and XLR route. So I'm learning this part of it now. So I was on the USB route last year, which is a good thing. It's a good learning experience. But that's just dead and boring. I mean, it was cool in 2020 and beyond, it was cool. But you look at this shit, you understand what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping off of that. And it's just what it is, bro. It is what it is. So I'm not really tripping off of that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not tripping off of anything, man. Like, one thing I can say about me, You do this stuff, but one thing I can say when people talk about that stuff, that shit gets boring after a while. It was cool in the beginning, when this all started. I'm not going back to 1.0 days. I'm saying in general. It was cool in the day and people just let it slide. But nowadays it's bullshit. You can't talk about that nowadays. Like it's a religion. Like that's just stupid. It gets boring after a while. And then people gotta understand talking about it religiously is crazy. It was crazy in 2020 when we had that lockdown and shit. And a lot of people just didn't have no subject matter. And I noticed that I'm glad I didn't come into that uh 2 years ago. I should have and talked about something else and then kept it sports and kept it related to what's going on. But everybody was gonna talk about that pandemic shit. He won't get no respectability about it. If you talk about the pill shit, that's what gave you views and things like that. And people be on your panels talking about the same old shit and looking for cover. It cost me a little bit, and it kept it what it was. I mean, it's a lot of great streams I did last year. Last year was great. I was anti this and that. It was something to talk about. But now it's like when the attention was on me. But see, I'm public enemy number one, so I don't really care. I take all the fucking risks, all the smoke, and all that shit. That's cool. I don't deal with guys that can't do content though. I blocked certain individuals this year because I'm not gonna argue with them about bullshit. Fuck that. Because everybody wants a nut ride to protect their bitch asses because that goes for anybody. Like if you're a nut rider and then you can't do real content and then you won't respond on your own shit like I do, and people can respond to me through their shit or whatever, or in my chat room. They have a right to. But then you want to attack and ambush people all day. Get the fuck out of here. That's some bitch nigga shit. And this is why I lost respect for niggas in these certain spaces. That's why I say fuck everybody else. That's my slogan. I've always preached that since years ago, and I've preached that in the workplace, publicly, in the break rooms, and offline on the jobs for years. So it's almost, to the 2 hour mark. But I'm just saying that's what I was been about. I've been about that on that time. So yeah, that shit gets kind of boring. Like when you talk about women all day, that shit's boring. That shit's boring as a motherfucker. But it's good to talk about other things, non and all that other stuff. And then there's talking about non-sexual tension. Then I was looking at last year when we was talking about game versus non-game, which is stupid by the way. It divided a lot of people. It was retarded. I let that shit alone when I did my own thing. That was it. But after that, I did great. I did great though. I did great because I'm glad I separate myself from that bullshit. And I said, you know what? Let me do this shit. And it took me a minute. And I think August was a good time when I upgraded and got a microphone. Once I had the microphone, you couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing. Once I had that lasted me from August until December when I started getting this dynamic USB one. That shit was my workhorse for a while, man. I love that shit, man. I still use it for every Thursday. I'm gonna use it this Thursday coming up. And this is my standard. I always use a USB dynamic mic on every Thursday. I'm gonna start doing that because since I'm going XLR on my rest of my content, it's all dynamic though, not condenser like. Because condenser, that's gonna be my pre-records. Always gotta have a microphone. So when I start doing pre-records, I'm using a microphone. Period. And that's it. But dynamics is the way to go for me. It's just period. You gotta have that. And that's just how you look at it. I'm not mad at anything. It's just like you just gotta look at it. Well, once I had the mics and the tech specs and I was doing, even this year, a lot of people didn't care. They was hating on it, but fuck the ones that hate. That's why I ain't gonna do that shit no more. I'll probably flash the interfaces I'm using if anybody asks in the chat room. I just use a basic interface, like I use the Behringer that's compatible with my Chrome. I looked up something today. I found something interesting about Chrome OS. About I ain't talking about the music aspect. Fuck the music aspect. Let's talk about the compatibility part. I researched something. I saw a lot of audio boxes and studio like PreSonus interfaces, right? And they say they got to be class compliant. When I saw that shit, I was like, the main ones, and I typed in, I said, which audio interfaces is class compliant to Chrome OS? You know, I found out it's a bunch of Behringers from 404 that cost like in the 170 price range, 169 costs to 170 or 174 in costs. A lot of fucking buttons. And then I got this one, the 202 I'm using now. That's compatible to this shit, which is factual, and it's lit up right now. And then they got the 109, the 204 version that's class compliant. And I'm looking at on another tab. And then they got the Audio Evo 4. That's a C. That is a C type audio interface. And then they got the Focusrite Scarlett i202. So when I was looking at that, I was like, wow. And then they have PreSonus as their standard interface. And I was looking at that today, and I was like, what the fuck? That's the standard interface for Chrome, because I didn't know Chrome was. Well, I knew Chrome was. I think they bought Linux. I think they was talking about that from Keep It Techy and what's his name, Nick Taylor. They was talking about that in the tech sense. Talk about Linux. Well, don't they know Chrome owns Linux? Why they hate Chrome? Because they actually control Linux. If you use Linux, you're using Chrome basically. I've used Linux before as a kid, as a teenager. My dad had Linux back in the day. It was something at the time, but it wasn't as great as people thought it was. My dad don't use Linux, but Linux feature was bought by Chrome. They used some of their features. So Linux wasn't bad. He said it was nice. He had some of those programs in the old stuff, the old Linux and shit, but now it merged into something. Technology doesn't change, right? It is what it is. Some people just got to understand that's how it was back then, you know, because everything gets upgraded. But the interface is like this, using on a microphone, you use it on a laptop. Then I didn't know how easy it was, and that just lets me know I should have did this shit last year on the tail end of 2020. I didn't know how easy live streaming was when you have a proper setup and then you have handheld mics. So I didn't know that. So I didn't have a stand. I had nothing. I was a headset guy acting like a typical Manosphere 2.0, 3.0 guy. I had a guy, I left that shit in March of last year. I said, fuck out of here. And I'm glad I took certain advice with people with the tech specs. I was in process of getting a microphone doing content. Believe it or not, I mean, Kudu was the entertainment aspect with the mixer. That's cool, but I'm not going to follow his path. I follow my own path. That's what I did. And I actually got a microphone over here. My very first condenser, as y'all know, it's a Quadcast. When y'all watch my old streams from August until before December and I changed, I was using a condenser the whole time. I was using that HyperX. It was a gaming what's called microphone. It had 4 polar patterns. It has the stereo, omnidirectional, cardioid, and figure 8. The figure 8 for ribbon mics. You see them a lot on ribbon microphones. They use phantom power on the interfaces, but the cardioid is a typical pattern for podcasts and things like that. That's what everybody uses in broadcast studios or broadcasting on the news. That shit was wild, man. But as y'all know, that was my very first microphone. That was my very first microphone. That was my very, very, very first microphone in August. And then I kind of put it to the side, use it on panels. I started using this Fifine K658. That's my first dynamic. Then learned about the dynamics in live stream. That thing took me about 9 hours of a live stream once. That shit carried me. That shit was awesome. Oh, I enjoyed the hell out of this microphone. I still do on every Thursday nights with the new Thursday segment that we're doing in the spring only. And yeah, then I upgraded my stuff. Then I got the XLR route. I had to get an interface, and the interface was the next step. When I love the Samsung Q2U I'm using now, man, this shit is awesome. This shit is like incredible. But I'm glad I got the right interface that's compatible. I said, damn. But I was looking at tech today. I said, damn, I didn't know the C compliant meant USB-C. I said C to C, and I got this on this computer. So, you know, yeah, I get more crispy on my last. I think we talked about tech specs over at Geno's this past Sunday, but it's all good. But but as soon as I talk about tech, someone leaves, but that's okay. That's usually where it is. But that's what I've been doing. So I've been upgrading myself. So I ain't got time to deal with the nigga shit. It's been 2 hours and things like that. I know people are gonna be people regardless of the situation. So yeah, it's 2 hours. I can kick with y'all the next 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I think the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes. I'll see how much. I don't see who else is gonna come through tonight because I know this is a slow night. This is 9:55 Eastern. Um, it's 2 hours. Then the next hour is 10. So we already know 10 is something else. Everybody's not going to stream like Tuesday night. So y'all gotta forgive people. See, I start at 7:55 Eastern. Then when it was 8:55, that's an hour. 9:55, that's 2 hours. I've been on here for 2 hours. So yeah, it is what it is because it's a 2 hour segment. Some people ain't gonna come through like that. I mean, I dropped the link if y'all want to discuss about something different. That's cool. I'm not an echo chamber, y'all. Like, y'all can challenge me on some shit. A lot of people just don't care. But it's okay. It's okay because I do this all the time. So, when you do series like these, what time it is in the long run. So you gotta understand something. That's the type of stuff I do on content. If anybody disagree with me, whatever, or have an issue, any of these streams, set it right now. You're welcome to address me, whatever it is. We'll get to the bottom of it. And I'll pull it to the side. I did that once on Sunday Madness, and that's what Sunday Madness is for. There's a reason why I do that. There's a reason why I can do that. But I think Kuda's right. Yeah, everybody's gonna hate the XLR route. I don't give a fuck. Fuck them. That's their opinion. Most people ain't gonna like it. And I'm starting to learn about these interfaces, man. It's awesome, man. But people gonna hate regardless. I don't give a shit. It's gonna come around with. If I do real topics, I ain't gonna tell them what I got next time. I'm not, because I'm gonna get to a point. I'll be like, man, I'm done with this shit. Nobody's not gonna like when you have a microphone, and I've noticed that too. And I told Kuda they just don't like tech. Period. That's a lot of people. It's complicated. They want something simple, like a USB, and I respect that. You get a USB, and that's cool. USB microphones is not bad. I'm not saying don't get one because I started out like one with the Quietcast. I love it. That's actually my pre-recorder and my panel mic that I use. I stopped using it though. I don't use it as my I'll say pre-recorder, but my new pre-recorder I got is that Mackie, man. That Mackie's that 91C. That's a small ass microphone. I didn't realize how small that condenser microphones is, and they have their own cable. That shit is fucking small as a motherfucker. I might have to show y'all that one day. And what y'all been hearing on my pre-records, I might have to show y'all that, and the shot mount that goes with it. But that cable that goes with it is unbelievable. I don't know if I can use it on panels, but because it does require phantom power. But I'm trying to get another condenser. I think it's the King B. I might get that too. That's something to think about. I'm gonna get some proper headsets real soon. So yeah, I'm gonna get some proper headsets, some monitoring headsets, and I'm gonna get those. So that's something to think about. But yeah, man, it is what it is. So let's get the headsets, and then once I get the microphone, I don't know, man, but I'll think about getting another condenser. I won't have this Mackie for a while, but I'll get another condenser. I don't know which one I want because there's so many good ones. I'll get the King B. I'll get that one. I'll use that one a lot in pre-records. I got to be careful with the popping and shit like that, but it has its own pop filter. It's got to talk from an angle and shit like that. So I know people ain't gonna like me talking about this gear talk, but it's okay, and that's what it is. And I think people should know that you can use it for your content. Some people say you podcast with dynamics. Yeah, you do. And I learned different dynamics. And I saw that Dynacaster, man. That's That thing's a beast. That thing's a fucking beast. Might have to give me a lav mic when I go outside and start doing streams, but y'all gonna see something different about me. I said this nigga took the XLR route. He took the XLR route. That nigga crazy. That nigga crazy. Yeah, that nigga crazy. I know. I know people listen to art right now, so it is what it is. It's one of those things like, it's 10, I'm just gonna look at it with so many words, but I'm gonna step away for a minute. I'll be right back. What's going on, Mike? Yeah. But one thing I could say about the tech specs and things like that, you learn a lot. And that's I was looking at that today. I was listening to what's his name? Mike Delgadio. That dude is a beast. Man, that dude, he's got so much shit I need to watch. And I'm gonna probably watch later. What's the name? Why does everyone hate the Behringer? Yeah, that shit is wild to me, bro. That shit is fucking wild to me. Man, it's certain mics I would love to have, man. It's just, yeah, y'all just don't know, man. It's certain ones I will look into, and that's something to look at. See, I'm still upgrading and things like that. But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. You upgrade your content. That's the whole point. When I get into that XLR game, which I love, I still love these same handhelds, man. These handhelds, y'all just don't know, man. The handhelds is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. I'm keeping. I got the ones I like, and then I want one that's straight. Have another cable to go with it, and just hold the shit. That shit is awesome. Y'all know what y'all missing, man. But because when I go this route, I'm not stopping doing content. Niggas is gonna talk shit regardless. I don't give a fuck. I tell you, always gonna have a mic in my hand, man. I don't need to put it on the stand. It's nice to put it on the stand, but I'm not. There's no need. No, you got handhelds. Always gonna go handheld. Always, always. Because if I have one on a stand and then I have two with this chamber, this interface, the handheld I would go with, I'll go with my Audio Technica or Samsung. I'll go with any one. It just shows you what type of mics I'm dealing with, what type of cables I'm using. When I don't have looped around, I have my interface a certain way. Yeah, I'm gonna have my interface. Cable's gonna go this way. Y'all gonna see some differences. It's just what it's gonna be. And then you have your arm. You can't mute the motherfucker. Because if I get the one of those studio ones, and then I'll talk to you to a handheld and I'll switch and turn the gain down on the other one, you'll see it'd be quiet. It's certain microphones I would love to have, man. Like I'm learning a lot. You can have those two channels. You can pick a channel. If you want to just talk to one mic, that's cool. And then you got another channel to unplug it or whatever. Yeah, man. I'll do a tech demonstration with y'all. Yeah, this thing is up quite loud, but this is the type of microphones that I got. It's dynamic. So yeah, this interface is awesome. I love it, man. Like I'm glad I got the right one that matches. When I looked up PreSonus, I was like, damn, they C type? I had to type in class compliant. That's the key thing. Class compliant. Class compliant matters, man. That's the thing about Google. If you're using Google, the interfaces they telling you. I already know it's PreSonus. That's their standard because they use Linux in certain parts they use. See, PreSonus is a software company. I might have to talk about one of these mic companies, the history of it. I might have to do a stream on that. I might have to do a stream on just like this and just show you the evidence and things like that. Then it's part of my segments. I'll make a series about it. I'll do it in the morning. I'm not gonna do it in the daytime or the nighttime because niggas is so sensitive. Uh, let's see. What I do learn, yes, software company and things like that. And there's another one. It's a German company. It's called Behringer. They compatible with their latest. I would say the UM2 is another one they like, and they also like the 202 that I got now, and then they got the 204 to 404. Those are the ones they like, and they're class compliant in that area. The B and all that, the 2.0 USB and the 3.0 and the C. That's the PreSonus, the Studio 24C, 26C, and then the audio box, of course. The ones you can't is the live stuff, the mixers. They don't want you to use the mixers. It's not a music thing. It's more like a pod. I think Chrome is catered to podcasting in their apps. And that's what I'm assuming. Because when I look at their stuff and their compatibility, man, that shit is wild to me. That shit is fucking wild. And that lets me know where people are at. Because you look at things like that, you just say, hey, look at yourself. And it's what it is. And I'm just like looking at it like, that's one thing you have. And it's just like what it is. But I know art's on and things like that. And that's how you gotta look at it. And I'm just like looking at it like this. Some things you can just go by and just see what's what and tell it like it is, man. Like, one thing I can just tell y'all is just it's just what it is. Oh, they talking about this bullshit right here. We're gonna yeah. These old niggas is tripping. Yeah, I'm not gonna this ain't nothing. I'm just gonna leave that alone. I don't know what Duke's got. Yeah, Duke chilling. He'll probably do something tomorrow. I'm waiting on him tomorrow. Some of us still, yeah. That shit is that shit is crazy. He's testing Restream. Restream is awesome. That shit, yeah, he's testing. Yeah, that's a good thing. He said you're done. Yeah, I might catch Lapeef later. He's testing Restream. That's what I've been doing today, and I was looking at some text and stuff like that. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff to look at. It's a lot of compatibility, but I didn't know the Focusrite 2i2 is C compliant. It has a C type charger. But see, this is shit that I'm talking about. Like a lot of stuff, you just basically look at stuff and you can tell what's compatible or not. And the Evo 4, I'm tripping off of that shit. Let me tell you something. I'm tripping off that shit, and I didn't think that was compatible to Chrome. Chrome's got a lot of stuff that's compatible. It's a list of interfaces you can get, but the high quality ones like audio, that's it can't drive that the mic that Kuda wants everybody to get. You got to use a FET. No, I ain't using that shit. No, there's better interfaces that can handle 60 dB a gain. To me, that's overrated. You don't need that mic loud. That microphone is kind of useless. I wouldn't get that microphone no way. You got to have a better computer, things like that. Chrome is not the place for that. That's why I never get that microphone. Never. Because I'm not doing music. I'm doing podcasts and broadcasts and shit. So you need like see the mic that I want is the RE27ND, the neodymium one. That's the one I want. If I want a better studio and things like that, that's the mic I would love to have. I would love to have. That's just it. The other mics that I would rather have for YouTube, I want to try that PreSonus PD70. That's the one I would rather have. And also would rather have the other one as well. The two other ones I really want. Just say I have them. You know what I'm saying? Those are my mics that my go-to. And then I'll have these handhelds over here and then the 9U and shit like that. Those are good mics. Those are versatiles. So many good ones, it's not even funny. But yeah, man. Yeah, you always got to get those combos, man. Stick what you got. Shit's long-term effects. You know what I'm saying? Do what you have to do. And that matters. That matters to certain people. And you just stick with it. So yeah, it's 2 hours in because I know people ain't really caring things like that. So, I'll come back to this and see what my boy Solo Benatti was doing. Let's see this shit. This dude's crazy. That nigga's crazy. He be on some crazy shit. But shouts out to she trying to restream, man. I got that account. I'm thinking about using that. In the future wise. I would love to use that and try to get some updates on that. If I had extra money, I would use that. Restream is nice. Some people just don't like StreamYards, and that's cool. Well, shouts out to the people that's doing real content. So it's nothing personal. And I know people who got issues with me at this point of time. I can't wait for the summer. I don't have to deal with this bullshit. And it's just like I gotta say something, man. Like I gotta say something about that. Quiet as kept. It only matters in time. So once you deal with the bullshit in time, you deal with people accordingly. So let me get up out of here because I done passed my limit. Another one. Y'all catch this on the playback if y'all listen to what I said, man. But that huggy wuggy shit, I gotta check that out. That shit's wild. I'm gonna talk about that in the vlog stream, man. That's some crazy ass shit. What these parents be on. Okay. Shouts out to Mike. Salute. Appreciate y'all coming through. Appreciate Shar for coming through. Who else coming through? Toya, the ultimate tutorer. Appreciate you coming through. And Mahogany, of course. Salute. Always salute. Keep doing your thing, girl. Psycho Candy, appreciate you, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through. Who else? I gotta shout out. What's going on, Degenerate? Salute. Appreciate you for coming through, man. Yes, Nadia, appreciate you as always. Always in the chat. Supreme Elder, appreciate you, man. Always in the chat. Always support. Tampa, salute, as always, man. It is what it is, man. Yeah, everybody that came through. Appreciate y'all, man. Like this is like another one. We can just chop it up another time. So yeah, this is a series I want to talk about various times. Yes, I talked about the Kansas City Jayhawks winning the championship from last night. Historical win, as always. Showed you the history and things like that. I talked a little bit about sports, a little bit of everything, and that huggy wuggy shit from, I will say, from the cartoons and things like that. But it is what it is. It's just, this is another example of people not disciplining their kids, not teaching them the right morals and things like that. But I'm not saying to be a moralist. I'm saying they have to teach themselves their own morals and then how to move around. You know, the parents did their best, but sometimes you got weak parents. Yeah. So I'll end it with that. I want to say peace and shalom, and I'm out.